You know, if
I have a whole couch to myself.
If Brock Peters was still alive, he would have been
not.
great to have at the New Orleans convention.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he's not.
He's not.
How are we not talking about that?
Well, maybe we
He
will.
just did. He just did talk about that.
Oh,
But you know, before we get to that, you know, we've talked about this before. You know, everyone on this sofa has had such a diverse, wide-ranging career, and I think it's important to acknowledge that beyond what we always talk about. So I want to ask specifically, well, there's a show that's been in syndication for 30 years that people love, that I'd like to look at a clip of Armin from the show. So if we can run that clip. I know it's not something...
What are those, cotton pants? Yeah. What, is it too cold out? Here's what you do. You bring a lightweight jacket. That way the sun comes out, you play the jacket off the sweater.
Oh, that makes sense. That's a good call, Stan.
All right, we'll see you guys later, huh?
Yeah.
Stan the caddy.
Where did you get that, and why did you show it?
You know, you don't just play Ferengi. You know.
I play caddies as well, yeah.
Play caddies as well.
In fact, my first job was a caddy. That's where I got these shoulders, yeah.
It also proves that everyone's, you know, has a different favorite show, and you think, oh, Seinfeld must have been a great experience for you.
No.
Oh, no.
No. I've already gotten in trouble doing this once at a convention. I'm not going to do it again.
Oh, okay. We're going to move on.
Thank you.
Will you tell me later?
Yes.
Thank you.
Terry, I want to ask you.
I'm terrified now, though, actually, after...
Don't be terrified.
I'm going to leave in a moment. Just.
You know, it's interesting because there's a pattern developing because, of course, you know, Armin, you know, has been so facile doing years of Shakespeare, but then also does these great comedies, despite what he thinks of his performance in Seinfeld. Many of us enjoyed it. So I want to ask you, having done...
I like my performance.
Yeah, that's not what he's dying to tell us. I think he should.
See, we're slowly getting it out of him.
He already got in trouble. Well,
So-
he already got in trouble.
did you get a timeout? Is that what happened?
Indemnity? I can't.
Double indemnity
indemnity
is when you ask me that question twice.
I did it.
I want to ask you because, of course, you know, you've done great drama, but also a lot of people here may not know, you know, for many years you did a wonderful comedy for Paramount called Becker, and I'd love to
Thank
know.
you.
Well, let's take a look. For those of you who don't know, let's take a look.
You know, I can't help but notice you're acting a little, what's that word you used, Jake? Oh, yeah.
I never said that. I agree, but I never said that.
I'm sorry, you guys. I got a letter that kind of upset me this morning, but I'm working it out.
Anything you want to talk about?
No, it's personal.
Enough said. Personal. Got it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, when you say personal, Reg,
Becker.
what's your problem? I mean, I share with you. I come in here every day and I tell you everything that's on my mind.
I know, and I wish it'd stop.
That's not the point. The point is you've been here a couple of months, you know lots about us, and we know absolutely nothing about you.
Well, maybe that's because I don't want you to know anything.
Yeah. How do we get you past that?
You know, when your father was alive, we used to sit here and talk for hours.
And now I know what killed him. You're just gonna sit there all day until I tell you, aren't you?
I could rearrange my schedule.
Hey, let's face it, where am I going?
Okay. It's about a guy.
Isn't it always?
I met him when I first moved to Miami, summer of '91. Ball player, you know, at the Marlins.
Okay, now this is getting good. Who was it?
No, come on, don't be nosy. She'll tell us when she's ready. Who?
Never mind that. We kind of hit it off, and what can I say? 2 weeks later, we were living together, which we did for 7 years. I wanted to get married, and he was a little afraid of commitment.
Infield or outfield?
Oh, please, Jake, go on.
Well, then my father got sick, and I came up here to help out. And this morning, I got a letter. He met someone else, and he's getting married. guess he worked out those commitment issues. So, if I'm not myself today, you know, that's why.
Oh, that's bad. I'm sorry. That sucks. I'm sorry.
So,
We'll be playing the rest of that episode tomorrow.
I see how hard she took it.
So the question is, in terms of drama versus comedy, do you have a preference? Do you enjoy doing comedy over drama? Different muscles? I mean, how did you approach doing a comedy versus, you know, coming off a drama?
Well, I thought that it would be easier, but they change their lines way more on a half hour. And I knew that. I just totally forgot about it. But here's the thing. I really miss being a hero on Star Trek. I think drama is easier because there's a natural pull to how we all move through the world. And comedy, the timing and how it's written has to be exact for entirely different reasons than Dead Letter Perfect, Lovey for Star Trek, right? That's because of we've created a different world that has another language that we use to describe what's happening on the station. But in terms of drama and comedy, I think comedy is probably more difficult because of the timing.
Now, what did you think of Seinfeld? No.
I loved it because I'd hear it from Mike Westmore. He'd tell me what was happening because we did not get to stay up late enough because of early calls to watch it.
So he would just tell you what was going on the show.
Yes, and I wanted to be on it desperately. I wanted to be one of Jerry's girls. Yeah, right? Yeah. I did. I was like, I don't care if it's man hands or big feet or crazy nose. Wicked ears, I would have been like happy, yeah. But
Would
I
she,
also
Armin?
haven't heard his story yet.
No, she would have been very happy there.
Okay.
And we had the same crew. We had Andy Ackerman was our director for almost all the Becker shows, and our camera crew were the people that were all the guys. The crew was the Seinfeld crew, is who we had. So.
Was it weird not to spend most of your morning getting spots painted on your face before you went out and performed?
It was weird to not have to wake up before the sun got up. Yeah.
Here's my question. Was it weird to be on the other side of the Paramount lot?
Yes, and extremely satisfying.
This is back in the day when everything actually shot in Los Angeles. And of course, they had what was called Star Trek Alley because you had Next Generation shooting on one side, and then you would cross the street, and then there was Deep Space Nine. Later, then Voyager would be across from Deep Space Nine, and Becker was across the lot. And it was so much. It's like when you watch an old movie and you see all the scenics being pulled and the construction going and golf carts, or you watch the player. That was what it was like. Now it's like the Gobi Desert. Yeah.
Truly.
So Becker was on the RKO side.
Yes. Yeah, we were right next to the Dr. Phil, which used
and
to
the
be
cemetery, close to the cemetery.
Yes, close
and even closer now.
So much closer now.
So Nana, I want to ask you, and I'm not going to put you through this because I really wanted to pull. I really wanted to pull that great clip of you in Battlestar Galactica that you did for Ron, which is just a beautiful performance you gave. And
not exactly comedic.
No, not exactly comedic. No. But my assistant couldn't find the clip, and he pulled the same Matlock one we showed, and I'm not going to do that to you. We're not going to watch the Matlock.
Because nobody wants to watch that.
Working Girl.
Nobody wants to watch that.
You couldn't find something from Working Girl?
As long as it's not the Colbys or Knight Rider, I'm okay.
Wow. I mean, Knight Rider actually sounds pretty good to me. Can we pull that? How quickly can we find it?
But I want to talk instead because you are a very talented hyphenate, an actor, producer, a lot of things, but now you're an author. And last year, late last year, you wrote your first book. Beautiful book. If you don't have it, Insight put it out.
Please go out and get it. It's an incredible
channel.
book.
And tell us a little bit about your road to writing the book. And I'm not going to presume to explain why it's so important. I'll let you do that. But tell us a little bit about doing that book and how satisfying that was for you.
Hugely, and really, it began with a man, Ben Robinson, who ended up being my editor, saying, look, I have an idea. I think there should be a book about the women of Star Trek, but I shouldn't write it. A woman should. Will you do it? And it's going to be like a paragraph on each character. And then, excuse me, we're going to have an artist, do a portrait of them. And I just said yes. I said, yes, I'll do it. And then I said, but what if we examine the culture of the decade that this show was happening in while we look at what the women were opening people's minds to, that, the space they could fill in the world, and see what, was there a deficit there? Was there, what were the differences? And to his credit, he said, yep, let's do that then. And amazingly enough, CBS went, yeah, do that, read it all, and didn't edit anything out that I said. So it's about the women of Star Trek. It's about the audience who has been affected by them and inspired by them. And these characters, really virtual. What I found was that the women were virtual mentors to children who didn't have anyone around them to support them if they were different from their families. Or Samantha Cristoforetti, who is an astronaut, a fighter pilot and engineer, and commander of the International Space Station recently, who lived in a tiny town in Italy, and there were no women engineers. She didn't know how she was going to bring what she thought she had into the world. But then she saw B'Elanna in Voyager and went, oh, I could do that. That exists somewhere. And that story over and over and over again. It was an amazing thing. So it was a man who opened the door for me to do this. And that's the kind of doors that men can open. It's really a great thing.
And your next book is on Seinfeld, right? No?
I like how he embraced you making his idea your own, right? Of course, that seems like, of course, that's the support you need, not just let me give you an idea and it has to stay with my.
Yeah.
He
really did.
Encouraged you to make it yours.
He really did, and he told me, this is going to change you, and I was like, yeah, no. It won't. I'm going to put my, private schoolgirl mind on and do the research and do this. And no, it did. It shifted me hugely. And because I needed to watch all the Star Treks, I went, I get it.
That's what they paid you for, to watch all the Star Trek, not to write the book.
You don't get paid for writing a book, really. You don't. You get the opportunity to learn this other aspect of yourself, and that's really what I did. But watching, I knew the original and I knew our show, but watching all of them, I went, I get it. I get it. It's really great.
Well, what was your takeaway watching it? And how did that feel different to you from when you were on set, when you were reading the scripts, when you were in the middle of it?
I'll tell you, in the 90s, I was in the cultural moment of other women are my competition, and there's a limited number of seats at the table, and we have to fight for them, and the prettiest one wins. And so when I saw Jerry Ryan, all the billboards, they were all over LA in this sexy costume, I was like, see, there it is. There goes Star Trek, that's of course. Then I watched the show, and I saw that she was a Trojan horse The costume was great, brought people in, but then they stayed because of her performance and because of the writing of that character and what it did for Janeway, what that relationship did. So, it caught me, it got me unstuck from the cultural ideas of what women are supposed to be.
And now 7 of 9 is captain of the Enterprise.
It's pretty great.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler
So
alert.
I want to say one more thing about the book. I think if this book had been written in the 90s, contemporaneous with the show, it would have been written by Ben Robinson. It would have been a pinup book, like an issue of Maxim, and there would have been like a paragraph about each of you written by Ben Robinson. So it shows how, not that there's anything wrong with Ben Robinson's writing, he's excellent, but what you did is it just shows how much we've evolved over the last few decades that we can get to this point where you're telling the story and in a very honest way versus what it would have. And I would have bought it in the 90s, so I'm not, trying to make myself sound so elevated, but absolutely I think that we could track that evolution, which is great. Okay. You always get to ask this question, which you're sick of, and I don't blame you. I would too, about, what's your favorite Star Trek episode? So I'm not going to ask you that. What's your favorite Shakespeare play and why?
Is that for me?
Who else?
It's for Darren.
Who else? Oh my God.
It could be for either one of
How
them.
do you narrow it down, Armin?
I don't know. I'm just sharp-witted that way.
You are. No, I mean, how will you narrow down?
Which play? Oh, it's very simple, Terry.
Is it?
It's very simple.
You star in it.
No, but it's
Oh,
close. That's close
okay,
to the answer.
okay.
So Terry's right. What's my favorite Shakespeare play? The play that I'm doing at the time.
So you're a serial monogamist with Shakespeare.
That's right.
Yes.
So
that's
if
that's
I'm doing
amazing.
Timon of Athens, I love Timon of Athens. Most of the time, I couldn't care less about Timon of Athens. So I just finished 12th Night, so that's my favorite. And my book's about 12th Night. So yeah.
So if you were doing Titus Andronicus, that would be your favorite.
Yeah. With all the gore and the mayhem and everything, yeah. Then Titus would be my favorite.
I'm not going to ask you that question.
Thank
Why
you.
not?
Well,
I want to ask you a different question. Favorite romantic comedy?
Titus
that's
Andronicus.
hard.
Titus Andronicus, yeah.
Midsummer Night's Dream.
Midsummer Night's Dream.
Favorite romantic comedy? Oh, that is hard. Mostly it's hard to ask me because my brain is not, I'm the person who doesn't remember the name of the restaurant, but I remember what I ate. And if you can remember what I ate, then you're going to remember the restaurant that I can't think of. And that's how my
It's an
family.
incredible segue.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry because that's who I am.
Favorite food?
Favorite food. Oh gosh, that's kind of tough too. How do we figure out what we wanted to eat last night? Nightmare. Okay, this is actually a peek into who I really am. Favorite romantic comedy. A fun one that I had to watch, which I enjoy anyway. It's very old, but I had to watch it because I was doing a pilot called Mimi and Me, and they wanted our characters to reflect these characters. Was Bringing Up Baby.
Great choice. Great choice.
Yeah. Great movie.
Cary Grant,
Katharine Hepburn.
Baby, the Black Panther. Different kind of Black Panther. Really
It's
awesome.
T'Challa. He's in the movie.
But I'd like to see that movie too.
Now here's the question. For a lot of you, again, may not know, but before and since, they're not starting so many great musicals, most famously Chicago, of course, but many great musicals. So I'm going to ask you, you got a choice. Do you want to do best favorite musical or favorite film noir?
Favorite musical.
Okay.
Definitely.
Musical film noir.
And now I'm interested.
Which might be Chicago now that I think about it. But
Actually, Chicago is film noir. I would say absolutely. It's really tough. I'll do this. I'll do favorite overture, and that's Gypsy.
Nice.
Da 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 da. Oh my God. Chicago, you can't beat it. Chicago. I'd say Chicago.
Were you ever in Cabaret?
No.
I think you would have been great as in the Liza Minnelli part?
I would like to do the Joel Grey part.
Well, yeah,
That would be
now,
fun.
But back when you were
No,
living
then
in New York,
too,
yeah.
I would've.
Oh, well, of course you would, because that's who you are. She thought outside the box.
Ow, that one's
Oh,
attached.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And it was an eyebrow.
Welcome to my world.
Just kidding.
How did you get any filming
God,
done?
I am so sorry. Revealing more about myself. Oh my God, it's terrible. I'm trying to hide now.
What's a role? And this is for any of you. What's a role you would have loved to have played that you didn't play? And it could have been in that show Deep Space Nine that you all did, or it could be in another show, or a play. But like, what you just mentioned Joel Grey and Cabaret. So, what is that like kind of role that would be just fantastic? You'd love to play that you haven't played in your career yet.
Yeah, I mean, Mama Rose in Gypsy, which you don't know. Does anyone know that musical?
Sure.
You do. Oh my gosh, quite a few of you. Yeah, and it's on Broadway now, I think. Yeah. I think that is a powerful part, really powerful part. I think that one.
If not Maleficent, some character like that. An evil queen, very powerful and deceptive. Yes, 1,000%.
So I'm close to Terry. It's not an evil queen, it's an evil king. I've played all the other parts in Richard III, but I've never played Richard III.
Oh. Do you have a favorite movie version of Richard III?
No. Actually, yes, but it's not Richard III. It's Al Pacino's film Looking for Richard.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'm really partial to Richard Locrane's Ian McKellen version of Richard III, where he said it sort of during Nazi Germany.
Yeah, I saw that on stage. On stage, it wasn't so good.
So
Do you love how he does not hold back?
He doesn't.
But there's no anything on it. It's just like, that's a fact.
it's great.
In
I
my,
know.
In my mind, it is.
Yes, it is. I agree with you. Well,
But
that's
he's always
probably
been
why
like
we're
that.
friends.
So in your mind, he did not pass.
Yes, you're quoting something that I said on not on Shakespeare, but certainly Star Trek. Yes, this shall not pass. Yes. I think that's what you were referring to. Yes? No?
I was just doing Lord of the Rings, but that's
Oh,
okay.
oh. No, actually, they gave me a line like that in the penultimate episode of Deep Space Nine. I believe I said, "This shall not pass." Yeah, yeah.
I love it
And they
when
stole
anyone-
that probably.
They stole it.
Yeah, yeah.
Of course,
An
they
Easter
would.
egg.
Let me
Let's
ask
not
you-
say
I love the
stole.
word
No, it's an
penultimate.
homage.
An homage.
Borrowed.
Begged and
I
stole.
love this thunder. Which brings me to New Orleans, because New Orleans.
That's where we happen to be right now.
We happen to be. And when I saw you last week, we both said, New Orleans, jazz, we've got to go see some jazz. So my question for you is, what's exciting for you about being here in New Orleans? What kind of food are you looking to indulge? Is it the weather?
God is angry. We're sorry, Lord. We'll ask better questions.
And
Better answers. Better answers.
and also musical genres. Is jazz your jam, or like?
No, classical music is my jam. I love Broadway tunes as well, but and there's nothing more exciting than listening to the opening, the orchestra starting. But as far as food, yes, New Orleans is great for food, and I have not had the opportunity as yet to sample some of the great cuisine that is here. You can't go any place in New Orleans without good food, so yeah.
What about you, Terry?
Oh, well, we had some pretty great food last night, and that's what we were struggling on. What do we order? It's difficult, so we really don't have enough time to kind of...
But music. What's your music thing?
Oh, music.
If we looked on your phone, like, what are you listening to now?
Actually,
constantly?
I'm listening to 21 Pilot because I've been listening to Max's music.
Your son?
He's 21, and he's going to go, yes, because I feel a little out of step. And so I thought, well, to jump back into music to try to, because there are times in my life where I get very interested and I ask people what they're listening to. And then there are other times that I just have to hear the same stuff. But I kind of got, not that I'm sick of Dave Matthews Band, but I have listened to it ad nauseum. So, but I also put on, I love Billie Holiday and all that really old-fashioned jazz. That's the stuff I listen to when I'm at home and I'm kind of puttering around the house, I can't think of anyone else at the moment, but yeah.
Same question.
I love reggaeton. And I also love jazz. Chucho Valdez is a god to me. He's an unbelievable Cuban jazz pianist. I mean, he puts his hands down. He puts his hands down on the piano, and they just like this, and both of them almost cover the keyboard. Wow! He is unbelievable. And I try to see him wherever I can.
Well, I know in the past when people ask, would you want to, if, by some miracle, Deep Space Nine ever came back to television, would you do it?
Don't count on it.
Well, I was going to say, yeah. The answer, everyone would say, oh, of course. But you, Armin, have been very adamant, if such a miracle did happen, not really interested.
Not as a series regular, no. No, I wouldn't mind coming as a guest star or as a recurring character, but I would have no desire whatsoever to reprise that 18-hour day that I used to go through. No.
Well,
Now-
DS9
But he
did
couldn't
come
even
back.
hear us.
It did sort of come back onto television on lower decks.
Yes, it did, and I'm speaking for Nana now, but we were both incredibly flattered that we got a chance to do that.
Well, you're both incredibly great. How is that different for you, other than the fact that you're not sitting in a makeup chair forever and you don't have lights in your face? You can be off book. What was it like to go back into those characters just through voice alone and create them that
It
way?
wasn't just voice alone. I had to get my old prosthetic teeth out.
Oh my God! Wow.
So you'd sound the same.
So I sound the same. Yeah. What was it like? It was lovely. They were great. They were terrific. At one point, they had me saying some line. I said, "No, my character." I never said. I never said this ever. I've heard other actors say that, but I actually said my character would never say that. And they said, "Well,
and you know that."
And I know that. And I never said that. You've never heard me say my character.
Not on the set of our show.
No.
On Seinfeld, however.
That was a different story.
Yeah, that was a different story. They said, well, what would your character say? And I told them. They said, oh, yeah, so they kept it in. And I can't remember what. They wanted me to say something, and I said, no, it should be something about my customers, not about whatever they wanted me, and I can't remember. And they said, that makes sense. So,
like the wrong point of view kind of a
wrong
thing.
point of view. And, but it was flattering. And we were talking about this earlier. There's the opening moment where they just circled the station and played the theme song, and I'm speaking for both of us now, that we were both in tears watching that when we saw it. It was just incredibly heart-moving, yeah.
We talked about, did you want to talk about your lower decks experience? I mean,
Armin, what did I want to say?
Nothing else.
No,
Nothing else.
I'm good.
She has nothing to add.
Okay, that's a character. That's not who she is.
What does the actual Nana have to say?
She knows who she is, for sure.
Well, I had to wear a skin-tight suit so that my voice sounded the same.
Did you put on the pantyhose? We wore pantyhose
That's
under
funny.
our... Oh, my God.
No, I loved it, and I was surprised. Well, not really. Kira's so close to me. She's like right here. So it was like, whoop, and I'm Kira again. So it's yeah, and I would do it again. I would do it again.
God approves. You shall do it again, Nana.
You know, it's interesting because I think it was Ira Bear who said like 25 years ago or 30 years ago or 5 years ago when the series ended, that one day people would really appreciate the series, that would be rediscovered. Because, of course, all you would ever hear from the front office was, oh, it's not as, the ratings aren't as high as Next Generation, there's not as many toys as Next Generation. Now, his prediction has kind of come to pass.
I don't think it was Ira's prediction. I think it was my prediction to Nana.
I think so
Right,
too,
Nana?
actually.
Well,
yeah.
this is very true. I remember sitting in the chairs and we were talking about. I was probably talking about, oh my God, is it going to go for another year? Am I going to get fired? What's going on? And it was, early on. And you said, someday they are going to get what we're doing.
You sure that wasn't Max?
It could have been Max. Yeah, and they did, didn't they? I was right.
And we were in the top 10 in syndication.
Oh, yeah, but we were the only ones in syndication.
But still, the numbers.
Okay, but so was
compared to
Next
today.
Gen. We
Yeah,
and
so
Next
that's
Gen
two.
were. So, but the point is, it wasn't doing as poorly as as being painted, because obviously they keep bringing us back.
Pat Sajak is not doing conventions. I mean,
He
you
doesn't
were getting
have
beat by
to.
Wheel of
I
Fortune.
imagine Pat has a couple $1 million somewhere. Don't you think?
He can buy a few vowels.
Yeah,
You can buy all the vowels and the sometimes why.
exactly, Terry.
How many years did he do it?
Yeah. But we were not beloved in the beginning. No, we were liked, but we were not beloved.
Because you weren't understood.
Because we what?
Because you weren't understood.
Because we were serialized, and if
Yeah.
someone missed an episode, and then where
Ahead
and
of its
then
time.
yeah, and we were preempted all the time. So it was like, well, now I don't know what's going on. So they just stopped. And also, we had some concepts that were
Different.
tough in the 90s.
Yeah, intense,
Yeah.
intense for sure.
Has your opinion about the show evolved? I mean, I'm sure you haven't watched it in a long time. You're
No,
doing
we have.
oh, you're doing
Terry
a
and I have,
rewatch.
actually.
Yeah,
Tell
we're
us about
together.
that. What is your perspective? It's so different because obviously your perspective, having been there and made the show, is so different than us as people who watch the show. And how, has it evolved at all? What was your impression looking back after all these years? Because I don't know if you even watched it when it was on. A lot of actors don't want to watch the show they're on. So what's that like going back and doing this rewatch now? And then I want to ask you about watching for the book.
Do you want to start?
You can. Okay.
As long as you finish what I've started.
I will finish what you start.
Thank you.
That
Okay.
sounds perfect.
Okay.
I will not leave you hanging. I
Thank
just
you.
need to
So
adjust my skirt.
Terry and I are involved in a blog called Delta Flyers, where we review all the episodes of Deep Space Nine. And so we have indeed been looking at the episodes. And has it evolved? Yes, there are things that the writers were doing that I didn't realize would be so important now, 30 years later. So there's a lot of things. The other things, and I'm saying this to my fellow actors here on the couch, extraordinary acting these two put in. And
you as well.
Thank you, ma'am.
All of us. It was great. It's great to
and
watch
I
that.
have absolute, and he's not here right now, I am gobsmacked by Sirach Lofton. He's 14, 16 years old, and my God, he's as good as René Aubergenois. It's extraordinary. And what the directors were doing, which I paid no attention when I first watched it, I'm gobsmacked by what they're doing. But the stories, the reason we're more popular now, perhaps now than we were before, is that the stories resonate. They don't seem old-fashioned at all. The stories are 30 years old, but they could be stories from today. Yes, it's a show I'm very fond of and attached to and I adore, but really, it's really good.
Yeah, it really is. I wonder if you can speak to that as well. Just having gone back and watched it, and if your perspective on the show as a result of time has changed the way you look at it, or you're able to evaluate it differently.
I was in love with the show at the time. I was shocked I got to play like a dream role where, full spectrum. I got to be everything I wanted to be or even was, really, truly, as a human myself. And I saw and worked with all these people. And I had been a fan of Renee's, and oh my God, there he is in a scene with me, and Avery, and so I even remembered Terry from this commercial and thought she was the most beautiful woman in the world, and there she was. So I was like, you know those moments in life that you go, there's nowhere else that I want to be. I am right where I want to be. That was that time for me. And when I look back at it, I go, yeah, wow, that it was good work. It was good work.
Well, it's interesting. All the shows have made San Francisco so important because, of course, that's where Starfleet headquarters is. But Deep Space Nine made New Orleans important because that's where the Cisco's lived. So, I mean, a very special show, I would think, in this town. And just to work with, Brock Peters, when you think about the brilliant performances and stuff like To Kill a Mockingbird, and over the course of his career, just how terrific, and to have him on your show. But you had so many great people on your show. Frank Langella, Louise Fletcher. I mean, these are people who weren't doing science fiction in the era, and they all flocked to your show. What was that?
Can I add something to
course.
to talking about rewatching it? What I notice is because of the LGBTQ plus community and those, just our whole show, if you look at, there are episodes where you can see it helps move the needle forward, not just for LGBTQ plus. I was trying to avoid having to do all those initials again, but like her being a freedom fighter, the connection of your storyline, Armin,
and the bisexuality. I mean, you had one of the first lesbian, what other way to put it, lesbian kisses on TV.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and we didn't address that it was.
No.
The same sex wasn't the issue. But the point is that we all had storylines that moved the needle of our culture. They were things that were happening, but they were covered up. Everybody was quiet or in the closet about it. And look at where we're at now, 30 years later, what television looks like compared to what it looked like. And they're not preempting a show where two women are kissing. They're like, hey, you can't have a family without including diversity.
And if I may, the elephant in the room, what Terry's addressing, we had a black captain. I've heard
Yes.
stories that...
And they didn't even make him a captain to begin
That's
with.
right. It was a commander.
What the hell?
And
sorry.
There was discussion... There was discussion at the very top, far above Berman, whether or not that was going to be acceptable to an American audience.
Yeah, and they auditioned a lot of white actors for that role, and ultimately, that's why, as much as certain people get criticized, they were able to, the importance of Avery in that role is hard to articulate because it meant so much to so many people.
Yes.
And he's so brilliant. That's one thing, my takeaway rewatching it recently, is how brilliant Avery is in that role.
I just wanted to say, Ira, when I interviewed him, told me about hiring Avery. They were looking, it was a commander because they wanted a very young person. Actually, Siddig was originally auditioning. They wanted a young...
like an upstart?
Well, he had just lost his wife. He was in this confusing environment. They wanted him, and so Kaiopaka was going to be his mentor and advisor. But the writers, once they saw Avery had been cast, they went, this guy doesn't need a mentor. So they killed Kaiopaka.
Yeah, and a baseball bat.
I want to also ask you because, first of all, the show is amazingly prescient. We look at what's going on with Russia and Ukraine now, or if you look at, unrestrained capitalism, all these things that are in that show. It's amazing how much it speaks to us today. But we just lost a wonderful actor that you worked very closely with. Harris Yulin. I would be remiss if I didn't mention him in that wonderful episode.
Yulin was the Cardassian in Duet. And I cried watching him do the scene where he admits who he really was and what his shame was. And I cry every time I watch that scene. I cry even thinking about that scene. He was so brilliant, totally behind rubber, bringing the complexity of humanity to full life.
It's not everybody who can be brilliant behind rubber.
Exactly. And if I may, I've known Harris for a long time. We were not great friends, but we were friends. In fact, I was talking to Harris when I first saw Kitty. The first moment I met my wife, I happened to look over, and I was in a conversation with Harris at the time in a bar in New York. I've known Harris for a long time, and he indeed was brilliant in that episode.
Yes, he was. So were you. You guys were a great duo, the two of you.
I think that was the moment that the fans who were hip to it went, oh my God, this show is for real.
Yeah.
It was a good Star Trek show up till that point, and suddenly it showed everybody what kind of a series it could be.
And two people in a room, you don't have to have starships exploding and phaser fights, and it's just two people in a room, and it's one of the great episodes of Star Trek ever. Who has a really good question? Because I see we have like 2 minutes left. You have 2 minutes left. Who has a good question?
Yeah, Mr. Worf?
There's a microphone over there.
There's a microphone.
Take your batlet, go to the microphone.
Get your batlet and the microphone.
You now have 1:30.
29, 28.
Thanks for being here. I was wondering if you had to pick an alien race from the Star Trek universe, what would you pick? I was curious to see if it related to your characters or if you picked something else.
Humans.
Thank y'all.
We've got some root beer for you backstage, Armin.
Okay, one more question. Going up to the mic. Thank you. And I'm expecting an Incredibles question.
Out of all of your episodes in the Star Trek, what would be your favorite comedy scene?
Favorite comedy? Good question.
That's a pretty good question.
Yeah, I have one. I forget. Was it Dr. Bashir, I presume? Is that what it was called? Yeah. But I played this Slavic woman coming around.
So good.
It was so over the top and ridiculous, and I enjoyed the heck out of that.
Oh, and Armin Bashir, where you play
Mona
That's what it was. Armin Bashir.
Was it Mona Loves It? Or
I think it was
Mona. Or no, it was
Come On and
Off. Yeah. Trexperts, ladies and gentlemen. Trexperts.
That is one of my favorite episodes. I did that episode on the Delta Flyers, and Sid came on to do it with us. And you're so generous, you're coming on again, too, so that's amazing. We're so lucky to have our fellow actors come and visit us on a rewatch on Delta Flyers. But you were, oh my gosh, when the bed turns. And then the other funniest thing is, wait. When you have it's like a whole sexy moment, and then you flick out a folder to him. What is she? And then she flicks out another folder.
It just doesn't get better.
It does not. And your accent, really bad. No, well, for me, I thought it was great. It was so
Isn't that what was so great
see
about
what
your
you've
show?
started?
It could be a comedy one week, a drama the next, a film noir the next. It could be Plan 9 from Outer Space the next week with Move Along Home. It could be any of these things.
Oh, God,
a Meridian
not
is
Move
a musical.
Along Home ever again.
Thank you for your question. Good job.
Yeah,
Thank you
you're
very
welcome.
much.
Wow.
But we got to ask him, not what your favorite comedy scene is, what your favorite serious scene, because you're funny all the time.
It was from Seinfeld.
Fantastic. Well, we are out of time. I want to thank everyone so much for joining us. You were great sports. Next time we'll bring the Galactica Club.
Next time we won't squeeze you all together onto one freaking
one
couch.
sofa. Well, you
Do a comedy. Do Night Court. Do a Night Court scene.
or Working Girl.
Or Working Girl.
I haven't seen Working Girl.
Not many have.
No. But it worked out just fine for you. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Armin, Terry, Nana. Fantastic having you.
Thank you, and
Thank you
glorious
for coming.
Trexperts, and thank you
Oh,
guys.
And please do not leave because it's disallowed. Also because it's a GalaxyCon tradition.
Tradition.
For the audience to take a selfie with our guests. So if you could come forward and just face the stage and act like you want to be here, and they're going to turn around and we're going to bring a photographer out and everything, and he is going to steal your soul.